people have no power in Puerto Rico already, and it's still over that island nation. Let's join now a couple of the members and leaders of Indiana's Task Force One, just back from the work in Florida, in Texas. Tom Neal and Jay Settergren are both here. Gentlemen, thank you. It's been an extraordinarily busy time for both of you, so we appreciate the time you're coming in for us today. Let's start with you. You're just back from which of these many places we've been talking about?
Harvey and Irma.
Harvey and Irma. So Houston first, then Florida. Let's go through this chronologically. What was Houston like? And then we'll talk about the differences between that and Irma.
Well, Houston took 53.8 inches of rain.
Mm-hmm.
They actually had water where they never had water before. Indiana Task Force One had members which were part of the incident support team for FEMA USAR, and our role there is to support the teams that are actually in operations there at Hurricane Harvey, whether it was in Houston or Katy, Texas, or some of the other areas like Beaumont, where our hazardous materials equipment push package folks went and helped participate in an evacuation of that airport and that area.
The lead time on Harvey was so different than the lead time we saw on Irma. Even while you were working on Harvey, were you all aware of this monster that was building right behind it?
Yeah, there was contingency plans already being made. As a safety officer for the incident support team for Harvey, I was kind of part of that planning phase where the FEMA program office in Washington, D.C. had already started looking at the contingencies of what teams they would be polling.
Mm-hmm.
Would teams be demoted from Harvey and then turned around and reactivated for Irma and sent into Florida and down into the Keys, as well as what we would consider OCONUS operations, which is out of the country, to Puerto Rico, St. John, and St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Let's talk about this planning aspect of all of this. As we've grown to know Task Force One over the years, I think the first exposure a lot of folks had was 9/11 so many years ago, urban search, recovery, a specialty. But there are many specialties, and then everybody on the team, I would presume, needs to be able to do anything if conditions change like they suddenly did there.
Yeah, that's correct. We have the specialties within the team. We have, trauma surgeons, we have medical specialists, we have hazmat specialists, structural engineers, rescue specialists, which is our core group of guys, canine search specialists, and then we have search team groups that go out and we GPS everything. So yes, but in the end result of that is we have to be prepared to do the rescue work in general as an overall mission.
How do you keep the men and women on the team fresh, for lack of a better term, when that's impossible? And you know that there's another natural disaster right around the corner. How do you prepare them for this isn't over yet?
It's a mindset, and we know that we're in for the long haul. We encourage rest and hydration every time that they're not working, and that's difficult. But we also have, we're fairly deep, so we have additional members that can go out in place of ones that go out on a current deployment now. So we try to keep them fresh that way, not send the same people if we can. It really just depends on what the mission set's going to be.
And sometimes you can't expect what's going to happen. There was a social media moment that we saw, posting of a picture of some people in front of a house where there was was it a heart attack or some sort of a cardiac incident? You weren't in the picture, but you were a big part of that. Tell us about that. Right. And how that evolved.
Well, we were pre-staged. The incident support team was working out of a hotel in St. Augustine, Florida, so we were away from what we thought was going to be the storm path until it shifted,
right.
Which it came over us. But on Monday, September 11th, we were all actually preparing to do a memorial service for September 11th, and the hotel staff came and ran into me first, and I alerted 2 other physicians and 2 other paramedics, and we went and assisted aid in a cardiac arrest up on the 2nd floor of, we don't know whether it was an evacuee of the local area or an area farther south that would have been affected, or they were a hotel guest. But they, nonetheless, we worked the cardiac arrest, and by the time she arrived at the hospital, had a heart rhythm.
Job well done on the road, job well done keeping things managed here. We'll probably pester both of you as Maria continues. Who knows what's going to happen there, and I know that Indiana is willing to help out if need be. So thanks for spending time with us this morning.
Thank you.
Lauren?